Hey everyone, it's Mindy from the OG Sports Network. Hey, coming to you live with Dave from EPA Sports. He is going to give us the Ken Palm top 5 rundown regarding the thrill factor. So we're super excited for these games here today. But make sure you guys go ahead, like, subscribe, click on the bell to get the latest notifications, and make sure you get over to ogcappers.com. Here we come. You can see Dave does really, really nice work. He put up some huge volume. And look, those are paying off. Our number 2 capper in the site overall in totals in the NBA here this season. So make sure you get with Dave and all of his pick packages for today. Just remember, all of those are profit guaranteed, meaning that if they don't turn a profit, you get credits back into your account. Make sure also that you use the promo code OG20 to save you 20% off on all of your pick packages. So yeah, visit ogcappers.com to get your very best bets there every day. I can see Dave making faces at me like the whole time. Rude, Dave. Whatever.
What are you
Rude.
talking about? What are you talking about? Yesterday, I'm excited for the show. We had a great show yesterday. Well,
We
no,
did. It
that was
was awesome.
that was, that was Friday night. That was our tonics and totals night on Friday,
Right. That's
and
what
it
I
was.
said. You need to drink the
Um,
whole time.
but the EPA model profiled those games really good,
It
really
did.
good. The one that the one looking back on it. There was two things with the modeling that drove me nuts. Here's the best and the worst about the last show. We talked about Houston Baylor. I don't know if you watched that game yesterday. Son of a bitch. That was hell of a basketball
Right.
game. Wow. Right? But in the model, the EPA model had Baylor winning at home big. And it had Houston on the road, 255th in road scoring efficiency offense on the year. And so the model's like, look, Houston basically is really weak offensively on the road. And I'm watching the game and Baylor turnover, Houston layup, Baylor turnover, Houston layup. I'm like, what
Right.
is going on? Right. And I was like, okay, Baylor is a 2.5 point dog, and my model has them by double digits. It was so big. We talked about it. It was scary. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't bet it. Right. Don't bet it. And then it went into overtime. Baylor trails by like 73 in the first half. And then
Right.
it goes into overtime, and Houston puts up 86 on the game, and I'm like, son of a bitch, right? But
Right.
then on the flip side, we talked about the number one Kim Palm thrill factor game, which was Kentucky Alabama, and you brought up, hey, Alabama's defense looks pretty good, and I'm like, not in my chart, baby, because it's at 352nd, and they're going to give up a Hunter double bagel because their defense on the road sucks. And guess what? They gave up
Guess what?
109 and their defense sucked. I'm like, why
Yeah.
doesn't it work that way all the
All the
time? I mean,
time.
right? I mean, like the
Right.
model, the way the model said the game would go, we're like Kentucky win and cover, Kentucky by double digits, Alabama's defense sucks. That was exactly it, right? And it's just like that's one of the things that drives me nuts with trying to model.
Yeah. Then you had,
Sport.
Virginia up there, what, throwing up bricks, building houses. What did they put up, a 16 at half?
Right? It's just like, what is going on? So but overall, our projections from that
Yeah,
show were really solid. We got some good games today too.
for
We got some
sure.
good games. So I don't know. You sent me the five. I actually, when I was going through it, I couldn't believe Purdue Michigan
They
wasn't
were
in the.
they were number 6. They were
Oh,
the
okay. Well,
next
you
game.
want you want to know why they weren't in the top five?
It looked like Purdue probably is going to take it to them. Is that why?
Yeah, Michigan at home, 234th in scoring efficiency offense, weak.
Yeah.
338th in scoring
That
efficiency
is so
defense,
bad. I
going
don't
up
think the
against
Michigan team's having trouble scoring ever.
going up against a top 25 scoring efficiency offense in Purdue. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I mean the line's 13 and a half. Purdue's on the road. I wouldn't bet this, but yeah, it's pretty ugly on paper.
For sure. All right. Well, let's start with 5, going down to 1. Ohio State versus Michigan State. What do you got?
Oh, I got, something. Ohio State on the road. I got 92nd in offensive scoring efficiency for Ohio State, 300 or 232nd on defense. So we got a strong offense, we got a weak defense. Michigan State got 186 home offense. So we got weak offense, weak defense. Michigan State's defense is 63rd at home. So we got strength versus strength. We got weakness versus weakness. Now the line on this one, I'm seeing Michigan State -10 and 138 is the line on this one right now. The model has Michigan State by 8.95. So we're basically Michigan State is at -9. The line's -10.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a value or a lean on that. That's really, really close. Now the total is at 138. I'm at 144.7. We've talked about this before. I like staying out of the window of 140s to 150s. This is 138. So of all the plays on this one, we're not obviously playing the money line because the juice to take Michigan State is just way too big. My favorite lean in the model in this game is over 138 Michigan State and Ohio State.
I love that play today for sure. And then we're going to go to
is that what your model has too? Is that what you're on?
It does. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, it does.
Okay,
it was like my number one total on the board here today.
Oh, awesome. So everybody listening, go out and bet under 138 and fade us because you know how that works out when you talk about it on the show.
Good one. Good one, Dave. Good one. Let's move to the Big East here. You can watch this one on Fox Sports tonight. Xavier versus number 7, Marquette. Marquette -11.5, 159.5. Ooh, a stinker?
It's already -11.5.
Yeah.
When I pulled the numbers up a couple hours ago, it was -10.
Oh.
Money must be chugging in on Marquette. And hey, I don't blame people. I could see where a lot of handicappers and do-it-yourself bettors are gonna lean that way. Marquette 42nd in home scoring efficiency defense, 82nd in home scoring efficiency offense, going up against Xavier, which is 154 on defense on the road, and Xavier's offense 227. I mean, Marquette has both sides of the court smoked in this one, and they're the home team. So I thought there was a solid lean. It was at -10. My projection was at -11.8. So all the value's been squeezed out of that. I mean, when we started the show, I thought this was going to be a decent lean. Marquette win and cover at home. A lot of that value has been squeezed out of this. I still lean that way because remember, folks, this is a points averaging model. So when we start getting into wide lines, the EPA expected point averaging compresses that. So having somebody in my model winning by 12, that's a huge ass kicking, not a little ass kicking. That's a huge ass kicking. So I do agree on Marquette, leave the points or nothing in this game. As for the total, it's at 158. And I'm at
159.5 now.
159. Okay, see, everything's jacking up on this thing. It's at 159. It was at 158 this morning. I'm at 149.9. So I have almost 10 points variance baked into this one. So I don't know where you're at with that, but that is a huge variance in that one. And it's going to be a showcase game. There's going to be a lot of people watching it. So that'll be a fun one. But that one, definitely the value is on the under. But I still like, going back real quick, I still like Marquette laying the points in this game as well. I don't think it should be that close on paper.
All right. And so, Dave, you have your Husker gear on. I saw. There it is.
Representing.
Go Big Red. Go Big Red.
Go Big
So
Red.
we're going to the Big Ten there. Nebraska -6.5 here at home, playing Minnesota. The Lady Huskers whooped up on Minnesota yesterday. Let's see if the guys can do it today. Over under 147.5.
Punt. It's a Big Ten West. We punt. Minnesota. What really stands out is Nebraska at home, 48th in defensive scoring efficiency, 93rd in offensive scoring efficiency. So top third in the country in both categories, top 20 percentile on defense. Minnesota's offense on the road, 81st, right? So on
Not too
paper, those
shabby.
three things, that's just from a nerd standpoint, that is sexy numbers right there. Until you get to the Minnesota road scoring efficiency defense, which blows. 318th in the country road scoring efficiency defense.
Whoa.
That is some bad juju right there. So yeah, it's -6.5. I have it projected. Nebraska -10.2. So I like the lean. That's more than a 5% variance.
Yeah.
I like Nebraska winning and covering at home. They have the best unit on the floor. Their defense. Minnesota has the worst unit on the floor. Their defense. So as for the total, it's at 147 this morning. Is that what you got?
Still. Yep.
So it's still sitting there. It's not exciting anybody. And inside the numbers, I get it because I'm at 148.1. I mean, you could say that's an over, but just almost
It's not
no
really an
value
over.
in that. Almost
Yeah,
no
right.
value in that. So I don't think that line's going to move much. I'm sure everybody out there handicapping it is kind of looking at things. Well, they look through a different lens, but it ends up kind of being the same thing. So I don't see that line moving. I bet you that Nebraska line might move a little bit.
Yeah, it's the
And
late game today, so a lot of folks might be seeing how these first games go and then move it later on.
right, right. So it's at 6.5 right now. It was at 6.5 this morning. So people aren't paying attention to it also because it's way down the list. It's probably not
Yeah.
prioritized for people's due diligence this morning. But in that one, the value to me is on Nebraska -6.5.
Sweet. All right. And then we got Florida Atlantic versus Memphis. Florida
Yeah,
Atlantic here, -1.5, 161.5 is the total. Game coming up soon.
dude, every other thing. Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, San Diego State. Every dang show has these guys on here at some point. Florida Atlantic number 12 in road scoring efficiency. That is killer. 113th in defensive scoring efficiency on the road. That's way better than anything Memphis. Memphis is 176 offense, 151 defense. So
Oh,
we
wow.
got
Okay.
we got Florida Atlantic covering them on both sides. But this kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies, right? Because Memphis is only a 1.5 point dog at home, and the model has Memphis on the upset alert, minus
Oh,
1.75. This
okay.
is a tight little booger of a game. Even though on paper it looks like Florida Atlantic should be dominating it. So, as for a lean, I mean, there's not a lot of value in that. I can see um, if you're doing your own due diligence, folks, I can see both of them, right? I can see Florida Atlantic winning this thing because they have a better offense and a better defense matched up against Memphis. I can also see Memphis squeezing out the W because, well, that's what the model says is going to happen by 2 points. So this is a really tight game. And as far as the side goes, I would completely stay off of it from my standpoint. Now, on the flip side, we do have a huge total out there. This morning, I had it at 160.5. Is that where you were, Mindy?
It's at 161.5. It has moved up a
Jeez,
little bit.
right? So if you're thinking about betting this one, I'm on the under on this. My projection on this is 156.4. So I'm already under. A point has been built into it. If I'm considering betting this, if you're like, hey, that matches up with what I'm doing, you may want to wait. Wait until tip. See if you can get 162, 162.5. See if people keep pushing that up. If you're on the under, we're already seeing the line go up. This is where you got to observe and be patient and try to get a little bit more value because, man, you never know when that half point's going to come into play. You just don't. So I don't like being on the side here. I think my favorite lean on this one is being under 161. I'm at 156.3. So
Yep.
under 161, Memphis, Florida, Atlantic.
Nice, nice. And then the number one game of the day here again is going to be in the Big East. Creighton versus St. John's. Pregame here, Creighton -2.5, over under 151. I'm rooting for Creighton, Dave. What do you got?
Dude, I got the number one scoring efficiency defense on the road at the 350th scoring efficiency offense.
Number one? Did
Number
you say
one.
number one?
Number one. Creighton has the number one road scoring efficiency defense in the
Wow.
country.
Okay.
right?
Well,
Wow.
nice. I mean, I like
Right?
it.
That's coming off beating the living piss out of Connecticut at home earlier in the week, right? So St. John's 320th. Sorry, St. John's, you're not 350, you're 320. Bad eyes. Um, so, and what's amazing though is the line is 3,
Yeah,
right? You
right.
know, and Creighton's offense is 71st. Now St. John's defense is very good. They're 75th. So the defense is solid for St. John's. They just can't throw that ball in the bucket to save their lives on their possessions. So the model, though, in spite of all that, this is where the men's college basketball home and road is so weird. It still has St. John's winning this game.
It does.
Yes,
Okay.
that
Okay.
gives me the heebie-jeebies. I mean, it's like the data says one thing and the outcome says another, and the line says something in between, and I'm very confused right now. And
Right.
folks, when you feel confused, that's the time to just move on to
Well,
the next
just
game.
just
You
be a
know,
fan.
yeah,
Just be a
yeah,
fan.
right? I mean, it's fun betting the games. Don't get me wrong. I love it, right? Especially big games. Right now, and for you, in your backyard, Mindy, I mean, Creighton, this is a big deal. A lot of people want to have something on this game.
Oh, sure.
Um, you could talk this is
My
like
brother was
Memphis.
texting me last night, like, "Who do you like on that Creighton game?" Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
nobody,
it is.
no, nobody. I mean, if I look at the rankings, I say I really love Creighton, but if I look at the projected outcome, I like St. John's catching 3, and I'm really confused with that. So at that point, we just go, I'm not betting that. I lean the model. So this is I'm going to just give you a big word salad here. The model leans St. John's +3. Personally, my emotion leans Creighton
Creighton.
to win this basketball game because these are really, really, really pretty numbers. That just says don't do anything, right? Don't
Right,
do anything.
right.
And as for the total, it's at 152 and a half. All right.
And I have it at
Um,
151.
oh, see, it's come down. It's come down, and it's not a surprise. My model's at 144.7. There was
Okay.
huge, huge, huge value in that one. I did log that one into OG Cappers earlier, and because look at the numbers. You got number 1 defense versus 320 offense. You got the number 75 defense versus the 71 offense. That to me, that package leans under. We're over 150. So I think there was a lot of value in that a couple hours ago. I still think there's value in it where it's at right now at, what'd you say, 151 and a half?
Yep, that's where it is, 151 and a
Okay.
half.
Right. And I'm at 144 and change. So we got about a 7-point variance there. And it's being backed up by really good defense. That's definitely one of the best leans for this show this morning.
Awesome. And then, since you are leading the way here at OG Cappers in the NBA, I feel like we can perhaps twist your arm and give us one of those specialty plays today, right?
Something, it's post All-Star break, so the data is just starting to reestablish itself. And it was a stinker yesterday with the modeling. Oh my gosh, dude, totals it was just like, I'm like, what is happening with these games? But the sides were exact. It hit every side. So it modeled that correctly. So sometimes again, the numbers, it's so weird what actually comes out. But
Sure.
again, it's long term, right? We're battling this thing long term.
Correct.
How about the Lakers and the Suns?
I
That's a
like
big,
it.
we got a big noon tip off. And I think there's some edges here on both sides. So I have Phoenix 124.3, Lakers 119.1. So I have Phoenix by almost 5. The line this morning that I saw was Phoenix by 3.5. So I like Phoenix to win and cover at home this afternoon. That also, when you add those up, that puts you at 143.6. The total that I saw this morning on that was 140 and a half. So the model
Or 240, whichever.
leans over 240.
Yeah.
So, and look, if I'm going to bet one of these things, I'm going to bet the totals. My EPA models lean towards totals. Whether it's WNBA, NBA, or men's college basketball. Totals has been the strength for the years I've been doing it. So if I have a choice, I'm leaning over 240 in this ball game.
All right.
And the secondary is Phoenix -3.5 at home against the Lakers.
Awesome. Let's go Suns. See, I got some orange on today. Let's do it. Let's do it. Dave, thanks again. Hopefully we could go ahead and do this again soon. Hey, you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, click on the bell to get the latest notifications. You don't want to miss out when we go live with other hot cappers. You could be out on the lookout for Danny Dimes here today. He's going to do one yet with us. But yeah, I appreciate your time, Dave. Thanks.
Absolutely. You have a great day, and good luck everybody hitting that enter button.
Bye, everyone. Take care.